Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Views. Today I have a beer from a collaboration of 3 different breweries. I think I've only done a review for one of these 3, which is Grist House. And I think that's where this is brewed because this has their labeling, and I believe my buddy who got it for me got it at Grist House. But it's from Grist House in Pittsburgh, and the Lavery and Erie Brewing Company in Erie, Pennsylvania. There's Lavery and Erie, or 2 different breweries in Erie. And this beer is called Beastmaster Grisla's Gelato. I don't know where that name came from. It's probably from a movie or something. It's a sour IPA. Brewed with blueberries and lactose, and it is 7.3 ABV. I've not had this before. I don't know anything about it, so let me crack it open and see what we got. Well, it definitely has the blueberry color. I will say that for sure. It's a really nice, like garnet or dark ruby to purple color with a really bright pink head. It's fading away a little bit because that's usually what happens with sour beers. The head usually doesn't stick around. Wow, that's interesting. Maybe not so much. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm just going back and forth between smells. It almost smells like funky, like it's an actual wild ale and not just a kettle sour. But I think that's just something from the blueberries, because I've always kind of felt that blueberries don't generally impart too much flavor in beers. They usually just add like a funky vinous taste and aroma. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this, but it is a lot of blueberry. I do get a little bit of vanilla, and there is a little bit of some like citrusy hop character, but it's definitely mostly driven from the aroma is mostly the blueberry. So I get a lot more of the vanilla in the flavor. The hops are definitely completely non-existent. So this is an example of something that should not be called an IPA. But I don't even know if I would call it a sour IPA. I mean, it doesn't even have... There's like an acidity on the tongue, but it's low enough that I would guess that it's just from the fruit. You know, because blueberries are a little bit acidic. It kind of just tastes like a... I don't want to say... It's not like a blueberry wheat beer. It doesn't have any wheat beer characteristics. It's kind of just a nondescript... blueberry ale that's loaded as hell with blueberries and a little bit of a vanilla finish. And I think that the carbonation is like kind of prickly, which could be a little bit attributed to the actual acetic, or sorry, not acetic, but the lactic acid too. But it's really not that sour at all. The other thing too, though, it doesn't have that like grainy cereal character that a lot of kettle sours have that I don't really like. They can almost lean towards like butyric acid, like stomach bile. Um, this doesn't really have that. It's really strange. Like, it's really clean and blueberry forward, but it's not. I know it looks the way because it's so bright purple and it's so hazy, but it's not like super. It's not goopy either. Like those, like the Answer Juice beers are. And I think the other reason I like this more than I feel like I should is because it's not sweet. A lot of times these things are like very sweet and very sour at the same time, so people can like drink them very quickly because the acidity cancels out the sour, but they're actually like sweet and sour, like Sour Patch Kids type thing. This is not very sour at all, but it's also not that sweet. Really, the vanilla is kind of providing a mental sweetness, I can tell in my head, but when I really think about it, it's not that sweet, which I think is kind of saving this beer. So there's a lot to go through with this because this is definitely a style that so many breweries are doing, but this kind of falls in a little bit of a unique category where it's not very sour, it's not very sweet, it's obviously heavily fruited just by looking at it, but it doesn't have like that off kettle sour flavor either. It's kind of really in the middle of all those things, which I think is what you want in this type of beer. And the other thing too, I just thought of this now, is I can't believe this is 7.3%. I know these guys aren't like 450 North. I'm sure they're taking legitimate readings, and this actually is that strong, so I trust that. And I think it's just the way it looks that makes me think that this is more heavily fruited than it actually is, because it's hazy and it's like purple, but that's just the color. That's what blueberries look like. On my scale of buy and drink dump, I'm gonna give this one a buy. I admittedly don't usually like this type of thing, but it's really crazy because it's like it's kind of a bold beer just in with how much blueberries I assume is in this, but blueberries don't have that much flavor. But it's like really narrow and well defined and kind of dialed in, so that's why I like it. And the vanilla, I think, plays a good role in this too. And I think that Gelato name is really appropriate for this. It kind of reminds me of something like that, without being like overly sweet, like legitimate like Spumoni or something like that, like legitimate like fatty ice cream, but not like the Americanized just dump a bunch of sugar in an ice cream type thing. So yeah, this is a buy for me. I don't know how often I would buy this, but it's kind of it is a really unique thing, and I could see wanting to drink one of these every once in a while, just to get a refresher from the regular juice or kettle sours or anything like that. So I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.